The hacker tactics are supposedly only being used to spy on criminal suspects, but with all that has happened recently, can we really trust the government not to utilize these capabilities if they exist? Attorney Domenic Romano joins me now. Welcome to the show. So they say they are only going to use this in cases of organized crime, child pornography, and counterterrorism. This is what a former U.S. official said when asked about these hacking. And if you believe that, you haven't heard anything about the NSA scandal, and you haven't heard of the IRS. And I mean, do you trust them to stick to this?
There's always a concern for privacy. It's a balancing of the security and safety. It's the balancing between us having our privacy rights and the government respecting the boundaries. So do we believe that certain individuals won't abuse power? Well, history shows that sometimes people don't do what they're supposed to do.
What is legal here? Because they're saying that this is a way, I mean, in reading all about this, this is a way for them to, learn your keystrokes, learn your passwords, to use the camera to see what is going on in a place where they suspect something is going on that is not right. I mean, do they have to get I'm not a lawyer. Do they have to get a warrant for this? What do they need to do?
Yes, a warrant is necessary. We all have the Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches and seizures, and there has to be probable cause to get that warrant. Recently, a judge in Texas denied the government, in the federal case, a warrant to tap into a computer and extract files and use the computer's camera to take pictures. Why? The judge denied it because there was a concern that the information of innocent third parties would be scooped up too. So that's what they have to show. But that won't happen.
They have to show that won't happen, but you immediately think of the case with the NSA spying scandal, and you think about the NSA gathering all these things so that they may need it later, and then saying, well, if we want to use it later, we will go and get a subpoena then, but they're gathering that in the meantime. Is the government doing that in this case? Could they be listening into my house and then storing it somewhere in a giant server farm?
Well, we don't know. They're saying they're collecting metadata. What they're doing with that information is not been publicly.
What does that mean, they're collecting metadata?
That means that the general information in the emails and the communications, who's being called, the subject matters, subject lines perhaps, the email addresses, but not so much the contents. We don't know. We've heard differing reports on this, what the government is doing with that information.
That's right. I mean, they were asked directly during one of the hearings, have you listened in on the phone calls? And they said, we're not allowed to do that, or, we're not allowed to have that information. They didn't say whether they or not they've actually done it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But bear in mind, the same people complaining about the intrusion on civil liberties are going to be the first people to object if there's another major attack and the government doesn't protect it. So it's a balancing act.
I don't know
right?
if they're going to be the first people, but I understand what you're saying is that we do in the case of the Boston bomber, for example, if we had been able to look into a room on one of those computers and see what was coming, we would love that. At the same time, I don't really want them looking at my kids as they're working on their computers. So it's a balancing act. Thank you so much.